Howdy folks, and welcome back to another episode of Tyria Talk. My name is Richie, and this show is all about the splendors of Guild Wars 2. Now before we get into today's topic, I just want to say, I know I haven't made a Guild Wars video, or any other video for that matter, in about a month. But I'm happy to say that my kids are back in school now. I have some more free time, so I'm hoping to have more videos pumping out on a more regular basis. That said, let's get into today's topic. Today is episode number 8, and today I'd like to talk about the PAX Prime announcement that Guild Wars 2 will be allowing characters to be at multiple guilds at once. Say what? Exactly. Now, we don't have too much information at this point about what this all means, but we do know that, like in Guild Wars 1, guild membership will be across your account, meaning all your characters will be members of the guilds that you join, and you can join an unlimited amount of guilds. Now, you will associate a particular guild. You're going to be affiliated with one guild at a time. So you will have access to the guild chat of one particular guild at any given time. Anything that you accomplish will be attributed to any kind of faction or reputation that they might have for that particular guild. The guild name that's listed under your character will be that guild, and any kind of cosmetic items like a cape or a tabard or whatnot will be that guild. But you can have multiple guild memberships. You just change your affiliation depending on which one you want to be assigned to at the moment. So that's basically all we know. And when I first read it, I have to be honest, I kind of sat back and went, huh. And I didn't really know what more to think about. It's, I guess the knee-jerk reaction is negative. It's like, no, you can't do that. What are you doing? But I think that just comes from, years of this MMO mentality of belonging to a guild is kind of like a marriage. I mean, it's a commitment for all intents and purposes. And some people take it very seriously. And so the knee-jerk reaction, kind of goes against that. It's like, what are you doing? But it's funny, when I started to really think about it, when I try to explain to somebody who's not into MMOs or not into gaming, like, why do I have to be home at a certain time to play a video game? I kind of always use my default example of, it's like a bowling league. It's a specific group of people that have to get together at a specific time in order to do a specific thing. And you're kind of committed to that group of people, except for instead of like drinking beer and knocking down pins, I'm drinking coffee and knocking down monsters. Yeah. But anyway, I use that example, and people go, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense than, I need to get home at a specific time to play a video game. And it's funny, I use that example, and that helps, get people to understand. But then if you apply that same example to what they're trying to do with this guild system, it starts to make sense even more. It's kind of like, just because I'm in a bowling league with this group of people over here, that doesn't mean I can't join a softball team with this other group of people. And just because I'm in that softball team doesn't mean I can't join a book club. There's no exclusivity between these different, activities. So it's kind of like, if you kind of start to open your mind to the possibilities of what this guild system can do, it starts to get a little interesting. Like, for example, I have like a group of real-life friends and family that are probably going to play, Guild Wars 2, and we play other games together, including some MMOs. So maybe we want to create a guild just, with people we know in real life, so that when we're all online together and we want to like hang out and do something, we can have the same guild chat and work together. But, maybe myself or one of my friends on their own wants to be a little bit more, hardcore, and we'll join like a PvP, like a team that's going to do like end game content, like hard dungeons and whatnot. So you could join a guild for that. And maybe on the weekends I want to dabble in PvP. So I find a guild that I want to join in addition that does PvP on the weekends. And maybe there's even a guild that can satisfy my bizarre urge to roleplay a Char falling in love with the cute little Asura. Okay, maybe we won't go that far. But you get my point. You can join lots of different guilds, and depending on all your different interests. And so it's kind of interesting. And if one group is doing something you want to do that night, okay, you affiliate yourself with that guild for the night. So yeah, a lot of buzz around the community about this announcement over the past few weeks, and obviously some people love this idea and some people hate this idea. I think on the negative side, I can understand some of the concerns. Major concerns are, this kind of like, there's no loyalty anymore with guilds. It kind of like, there's no commitment and you're not loyal to a specific guild. And I can kind of get that from the perspective of, I've been the guild master of raiding teams before. In World of Warcraft specifically, I led 40-man teams and I also led 25-man teams. And, it's a lot of responsibility and it's a lot of work. And you get very protective over, what you've created and the time you've put in. And I could just see a scenario right now in like a Guild Wars 2 environment where, you're a guild master and you're hanging out with your team of people. You have a whole bunch of people in your guild. They're all affiliated with you right now. You're in guild chat. And then someone like drops a bomb in the guild chat. It's like this virus. They'll say something like, "Hey guys, I just joined this really awesome PvP group, guild. And they're really good at playing. And like, within a week, I was able to accomplish this and this, and look at all my cool stuff." And it was a guild master like reading this. All of a sudden, your heart starts to sink. You're like, no. And sure enough, over the next couple days, you're logging in, and less people are affiliated with your guild, and they're off doing this PvP thing. And like you can see that they're still online, but they're not affiliated with your guild. And it's kind of hard not to take that personally. And it's you can kind of feel abandoned, and you can actually get sour grapes about them doing that kind of thing. But I think that problem with that mentality is it's still trying to take the conventions of guilds, where you can only be in one of them, and applying it to this model. You kind of want to keep control, and that's something that the old guild model, the single guild model is a big factor, is that control over that group of people. It's like, you want to get something from our guild, great. You need to commit to this guild and do stuff for the guild, and that's how it works. But suddenly in this model, you can kind of go off and do different things. And there's no real consequence to it. If a person in my guild wants to go join this PvP guild, you lose access to my guild. So that's a choice you make, but there's a consequence to it. So I could see the mentality being a little bit like, all right, now there's no consequence. They can go join that PvP thing and leave me hanging, and there's nothing I can kind of do about it. But I think as we experience this, people are going to start getting creative and kind of thinking outside the box. And at least that's my hope for it. Because I could see a situation where the guild leaders and officers maybe think outside the box and they say, hey, let's start our own guild on our server that kind of only invites people that are in this kind of like leadership role in other guilds. Maybe just guild masters and officers from other guilds create this super guild master guild. And they use the guild chat in there and stuff to kind of like discuss strategies about tackling certain content, or maybe even discussing like people on the server. Hey, does anybody know this guy? He's applying to my guild. Is he in any of your guilds? Is he a nice guy? Is he a jerk? And you can kind of now have this like, this resource for helping you manage your team, because it's a lot of work, managing a guild. I spent most of my career managing in a corporate environment, and I could tell you, you use the same exact skills, managing a team of raiders in an MMO than you do managing a team in a corporate environment. So, I don't know, that's just one example I thought of maybe of being able to think a little bit differently and try to be creative with this. But I think we're going to see a lot more as we find out more details about it. One other thing I'd like to say about it to anyone who's stuck on the whole loyalty, avenue about why this is horrible and whatnot, is like most other games, they allow you to only have your character in one guild at a time. But so if you create another like an alt, a low-level character or a different character, they can be affiliated with a different guild. So before you start like casting aspersions about like how this destroys the loyalty aspect, ask yourself: have you ever not logged in your main character on one of these games in favor of another character just because you didn't feel like raiding that night? Maybe you would really wanted to level your alt instead, or maybe even go a step further. Maybe you have an alt that's in another person's guild. Maybe they do PvP, but your other raiders don't know about it. You know, the more I think about it, the more I feel like this already exists. The difference is it's a different character. You can't have the same character in multiple guilds, but it's a different character, and you're kind of doing it on the down low. You're kind of like sneaking around and doing it. It's not actually, you know, it's not actually creating this phenomenon. It's just making it an acceptable reality. Like, everyone's going to do this, and, you know, people are gonna, you know, the social aspect of it is gonna adapt and try to figure out, you know, what's right and what's wrong in this scenario. Whereas, you know, in a lot of MMOs right now, it's just kind of like a sneaky, like, back alley type thing. So, some food to think about. Yeah, I kind of. I don't know, I'm kind of blown away by this one. I think as we see more details come out about the restrictions and the mechanics of it and how it's going to work out, we'll be able to see the community kind of really adopt it, and I think we're going to see some pretty interesting things come at it. Because ArenaNet's job is basically to, here's the keys, here's the tools, here's the parameters, and it's really not up to them to kind of police how the social aspects go. And one more thing I'll state is, I think the downfall for a lot of people is going to be trying to cram their expectations and the you know, how it works in other MMOs to this model, because it's just not going to work. I can see guilds already saying, well, if you want to be part of my guild in Guild Wars 2, you're going to have to be exclusive, and if you join another guild, you're out. And I can see guilds doing that. I just know they're going to do that. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see them being too, you know, successful in that. The bottom line is we're here to play a game. We're here to be entertained. And, you know, giving players the flexibility of joining people to do different aspects of the game wherever they want. And I think that's a good thing. You know, I know the pressures of logging in because you have to, or you feel like you're going to let your team down, or you know, I realize that's a real pressure, and some people, you know, take that very seriously. But you kind of have to think about it. If you're not logging in that night because you want to PvP and you know they're going to make you PvE, then you kind of you know, really kind of reevaluate, you know, what exactly you're doing. You know, you're here to have fun. You know, this system allows you things to be very, very flexible, and, you know, you can kind of make of it what you will. But get off my soapbox now. Let me know what you think in the comments field below. Ask any questions. I will try my best to answer them. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Richie Procopio. I talk about all kinds of video game stuff, not just Guild Wars 2 there. And subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can be notified when future videos are released. Well, until next time, and thank you very much for watching.